Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Critical Corner on Groong. In this episode, guest host Dr. Bedros Afeyan continues the exploration he began in episode 499, where he discussed with Diana Mkrtchyan her documentary, Ojakh, The Other Side of Silence. Diana was inspired by an exhibit called Horovel by Turkish photojournalist Erhan Arik, and so Bedros sought out Erhan to discuss where his inspiration came from for Horovel. And he found that Erhan has been documenting genocide survivors in their communities for a long time. Dr. Afeyan is a theoretical physicist specializing in plasma physics and laser fusion since 1980. He also paints, sculpts, and writes poetry. He is keenly interested in classical music, classical guitar, theater, cinema, and chess. He lives and works in Palo Alto with his wife, Marine. So without further ado, take it away, Bedros.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of The Critical Corner on the Armenian News Network, Groong. Today, we're talking with Erhan Arik, an accomplished photographer and photojournalist. Erhan's ancestors are from the Javakhk region of the South Caucasus in modern-day Georgia, who were exiled by Stalin in 1920 and settled in Ardahan. He grew up there and eventually started working at Agos in Istanbul, the legendary Armenian newspaper originally led by Hrant Dink, a martyred Armenian of modern times. Erhan pulled a thread on the question, where does the word Horovel come from? What happened to the Armenians in Ardahan? Where are the survivors or remnants of those communities? And he found them across the river in Armenia, approaching or surpassing 100 years of age in 2010. His photographs and captured quotations summarizing entire lives of contemplation, longing, chagrin, loss, reevaluation of parents lost, parents and families slaughtered, the absurdity replaced by Soviet absurdity, then so-called freedom, and still no right to return, unending yearning, and young Erhan with an olive branch and a kind camera lens recording their plight for posterity. This then led to Diana Mkrtchyan's documentary project, Ojakh, where Erhan plays a central role. It recreates what Erhan did and now captures those centenarians in their homes, in their own words and feelings, and on digital film. We wanted to discuss all this with Erhan, Horovel, Ojakh, Gayan on Middle Eastern Armenian communities, and his current project, a seed planting journey back to Javakhk, which spans Armenia, Georgia, and Eastern Turkey, with a feature-length documentary with his cinematographer wife. Hello, Erhan. Welcome to the Groong podcast.
Hello, Bedros. Thank you for the invitation. I am so happy to be here.
We're very happy to talk to you. Just for the record, I hope you know this is the first time we're speaking with a person with a Turkish passport. I'll just leave it at that. But even though you're from the corner of the world which has Armenians and Turks and Georgians all mixed up. All right. So, Erhan, let's start with your origins and everything that led you to Horovel. If you could take us through your journey from Ardahan to Istanbul.
I was born in Ardahan, in small village of the Ardahan. It's called Samzelek. It's an old Armenian and Greek village. After the genocide period, my family starting to live in there, and my ancestors from the Akhirkelek. And just before 1944, before Stalin period, my family come to the Ardahan around 20s and 25th this time. They starting to live in this old Armenian and the Greek village. I was born in there, and until 2010, from my families, I mean, some kind of sometimes they were saying that this is an Armenian house, this is an Armenian house, but we never know that how they know this. Just when we ask them how they know it's an Armenian house, my father always just saying that my father say that this is Armenian house. And 2010, I saw a dream about this house where we use as a barn. This place is a old, one of the center of these houses, and there is an Ojakh, and the stone Ojakh, and I saw a dream about this barn, and somebody is talking with me in my dream, and he's telling me, "This is my house, and this is my Ojakh, and my wife making a cook in this Ojakh, and my children playing in this room. And today we are using these houses, my houses, as a barn." For me, quite a strange feeling to saw this dream. Somehow, I heard that this Armenian house, but when I saw this dream, I deeply affected from the voice that I heard in my dream. And I starting to criticize myself and my family and my identity, my cultures that I grow up. Because Ojakh, oven, heart, let's say the heart, is a quite important symbol of our cultures. It symbolizes family, it symbolizes to be together, it symbolizes the people who pass away, it symbolizes family, it symbolizes who goes and who lives, who stay. So it's a very symbolic place. And we have a very inner connection with this part of the houses. And if somebody's houses, if they destroyed, even if destroyed, and if there is nothing, then nobody's touched the Ojakh, because it symbolizes a loss of inner things, and you cannot touch it. But my family, they touch to this oven. And this question makes me crazy, quite. I mean, if we cannot touch to another's oven, it belongs to us, let's say us. How we touched this oven? How we started to use this oven as a barn? Why we made it dirty? I don't know. Is there some voices from inside me? I don't know. The thing that from this point that I'm telling is not so. I cannot explain. There's some logical things. Somehow deeply, I just feel that I should do something. And I decided to do a long journey to go to Armenia and visit to the border, people who lives in the border. Why is the border? It's because I don't know. Somehow I just think that this small border is a place that I can access so easily, and it's also the symbol of separate to us. And I just want to pass it. And I just wanted to sit the Armenian people, the families, and face to face, and I just want to share the same table with them. And during that period, I know only one Armenian person. Name is Bedros Afeyan. He's an Armenian journalist, and he's also a very important figure of us. So I just called to him, and I met with him, and I just tell him to my dream. And I just tell to him, I want to do something. I just want to go and do some trip and some visit to meet with the Armenian families, just other side of the border. And he support me very well and this idea. And when we are talking with him, he told me that it might be so nice, maybe when you visit all this the border and all this the village, when you met all these families, the farmer families, it should be so nice recording the Horovel, some Horovels from both sides. It might be so nice to hear the Horovel from the different side of the border. And I asked him, Akbarik, what is the meaning of Horovel? And he said, you should know that if your father is a farmer, and if you work in the farm with the ox, because as he knows that I'm coming from the village, my family is a farmer, and I grew up there. So he imagined that I work in the farm. So and and I said, yes, I work in the farm, and I work with my father and with the ox, but I didn't heard that this name, this word. And he said, he explained to me what is the meaning of Horovel. And the farmer people, they are while they are working in the field, they are singing a song, some kind of song, and they're telling some the beautiful things to their animal, to motivate to them to spend the time, just killing the time. They sometimes just have to say, telling to some beautiful or some, I'll say, think some things to another farmer who is working near to him. And then he told me, it should be so nice to ask to your father also this word, if he knows or not. Probably he knows what is the meaning of Horovel. And before starting to go on this trip, I visited my father again. And I told him my dream. And he affected also so much. And then I asked him, Father, what is the meaning of the Horovel? What is that? And he told me, you don't remember while we are working, I was singing some song to my ox and in the farm, so in the field. This is the meaning of the Horovel. And I asked him, which languages is a Horovel? And he told me that it's old Turkish. And in this point, I realized that why Pakrates Tukyan sent to me, to my father, and asked to him, what is the meaning of the Horovel? This is a very basic, very simple experiences, but it shows the main core of the issue about the Armenian genocide and after that. And Armenians, they remember what they have and what they lived. And the Turkish side, they forgot or they don't remember or they change all the history.
Erhan, there's so much in what you said that if I don't stop you, there's going to be too much and we're never going to be able to go back. So thank you for all of that. By the way, I just had a thought. Horovel in Armenian, horovel, means to conjugate. It's a grammatical term, like past tense, future tense. This when you play with a verb, that's horovel.
Yeah.
So it's sort of the antithesis of an onomatopoeia like horovel, which is used with animals who don't have language.
Yeah.
While horovel is how we say the most sophisticated thing you can do is, transliterate time signatures of expressions and stuff.
Yeah.
So in Diana's podcast, when she brought up Horovel, I sang it. So I just feel I have to sing it here too. Horovel. Ari, 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 Horovel. Ari, ari. Horovel. This is Gomidas's thing, screwed up by me. Yeah. Is the Turks version the same or similar, or does it get Turkified musically, just as a musical question? Or are there many versions, or what do you remember of that?
The thing that when I asked this word to my father and what was the meaning, and the thing that I heard is some kind of the spontaneous word, just telling some stories to his animals.
Okay. So whatever he told his animals, they call that Horovel.
Yeah, but it's some kind of singing, it's telling, yeah. And it's a very spontaneous, a very experimental.
So you're a very sensitive guy, and this dream, so this is the main point I want to make. This dream touched you, and the violence of converting somebody's hearth, the place where the whole home was surrounded by, turn it into a barn or a storage space. In Diana's movie, we see images of it as the camera goes down and gets to the hearth and the closed up Ojakh. or furnace.
Mhm.
Now, I just wanted to remind you that in almost everywhere in Anatolia, the churches have been turned to barns. The violence of that is so much more, if they're not turned into mezquites, into Muslim worship
Yes.
places,
Yeah.
they're turned into barns.
Mhm.
And for instance, in the movie I always mention, which was my first foray into seeing Armenians trying to go back, a movie called Yearning or Garot, what happens is that he goes back to the village and he sees that the church has grass growing and animals, grazing, and he just freaks out because he just can't believe that such a thing can be disrespected. Like you felt that the oven itself being disrespected was already too much. Being used for something else was already too violent. And so you can imagine the memories that are frozen in Armenian heads about that. But anyway, so tell me about Agos. What did you do at Agos?
Uh, I think is it 2011 it should be. After when I did Horovel, I moved to London for just taking the English course, but as you understand, it doesn't work very well. And it's also I want to be keep going on my life. I'm the photography about the professional way. I just want to keep going on my life from the land from the any uh, part of the Europe and then later on I decided that is not the good idea to stay far away from the Turkey because I am a quite I have to say I'm so much not how to say not stuck but
One word is grounded.
yeah,
Grounded.
yeah, the
This is the
ground
same problem Russians have. You take a
yeah.
Russian, put them in New York, they usually would they just disappear. But they have to be in Russian soil, they say. So grounded in Turkish culture.
Yeah. So I decided I cannot be stay far away from the here, and from my soul, and from my how to say the country,
Roots.
the roots, and the memories. And then I come back, and during that time I had more relation with the Armenian communities and also with the Agos. I just want to be work with the Agos as a just want to be in there. Is a somehow this is the place that I have to say I want to be. So I just talk with them, and they also too happy to work with me, and I start to work with them.
Let's jump back to the creation of Horovel, the photographs you took, the old people you met. Now, we're going to do this in two stages, remember? First, we're going to talk about what it was like for you the first time, and then, thanks to Diana, what it was like for you the second time. So try to separate the two. Just talk about what it was like for you, your camera, your raincoat, your rain boots, jeans, because Diana photographed it afterwards. That's how I know. And you going into these houses and speaking to these ancient Ardahansis and Mushetsis and Vanetsis and whoever you found, Garsetsis.
Yeah, it was really when I look at from this time again from today to this time is a I don't know is it come to me as a quite really strange because somehow I haven't any contact and nothing just I had a contact from my friend and he forwarded me a woman name is Armenian Avetisian working also the cultural area and art and cultural area and he connect with me to her and I just contact with her and I just wrote to her and I just called to him and he said someone pick up you when you pass the border and you will come and we will starting to talk and we will see what will happen and it was so interesting is really I just went to Gümri and more than 2 months I stayed with her and her family. And what I did, of course, they helped me so much. They have some small organization, the cultural organization, And there is no any logical reason that they believe me. There weren't any logical reason, I think. But somehow they prefer to believe me and the
Take
support.
you at face value.
Yeah,
In other words, not try to find complicated explanations
yeah,
of
yeah. But
paranoia, but to just treat you face to face as a human being who's telling the truth.
but it's Bedros, it's not so easy, especially from this time when I look at 2009 and 10. It's not so easy, and they believe me, and they said let's doing some presentation in here, and they call some people from different background, and let's speak all of us and describe yourself and tell your stories.
With a translator.
Yeah, with the translator and explain yourself. I think, yeah, Armenia, she was speaking, speaking Turkish also very well. Not so good, but I was better than my English. So, yeah, I did some kind of presentation. I just tell to who I am and
Did you tell them all
there.
about your dream?
I just tell to them just my dream and my motivation. And then everybody is starting to help to me about access to people. And every day it was so it was so nice and so beautiful. And we were sitting in their how to say office, and we were calling to we called the muhtar. We were calling that to the chef of the village, and they're telling to them there is a person from Istanbul. He's a non-Armenian, and he's doing some kind of project. He would like to meet with you. So what I am doing every time we are calling to a chef of the village, and I'm going to there with a translator or driver, and then they introduce me, and we starting to talk, and I explain to them my project. Then they introduce me to the family who might be accept, and the most of them were accepting, and yeah, I work like this.
Erhan, did you take pictures on one day, the day you met them, or did you go back and take more and more pictures?
It was the first professional the professional journey at the same time in the photography side. It was very professional, but I realized it so clearly. I saw that because I'm visiting the border villages, and the zone of the army zone and the Russian control area at the same time. So it's not so easy to you might not find the chance go back to again there. So after the first village experiences, I realized that when I go there, I should met any person, not so much person, but maybe a few person that I spend the time. I should, because at the same time I want to listen to their stories. I want to spend the time with them. I want to have to say to know that what I am feeling and what I am thinking and who I am. So at the same time, I don't want to be steal something from their life and their stories. I mean, is there some kind of it should be some deal with them. So that's why I
So
need
you
time.
recorded their statements from which you culled the pieces, the quotations that you put up near the pictures?
Most of them I weren't recording because recording in that kind of area is a quite for me is a not good way. The nice way because you are in the border area. Okay, they can believe you and they can trust you. But on the other hand, recording something make them very stress. So that's why
how did you remember those quotations?
Because I was taking a note.
So you were listening to the translator and furiously writing.
Wow. Every meeting, I don't know when I went to the village, maximum with 2 people I was meeting, not more. I was sitting and I spent the time, and only I think is one village I visit again, But the rest of them, yeah, the few people. And that's why during this journey, there in my archive, there is not so much pictures. Only two people, or maybe three people.
Okay, we're going to talk about Dikranouhi, obviously. Dikranouhi being the central character both in your Horovel and in Diana's. In
Yeah.
my opinion, in Diana's, one of the most impressive things to me was Dikranouhi. But Dikranouhi, what was her last name? Asadourian?
Asadourian.
Right. That old lady whom you photographed and you filmed,
Mhm.
who's in Diana's movie because of your film. She was dead already by the time Diana showed up.
Yeah.
Really pins her movie too. So every other character makes a nice bouquet, but the central flower, in my opinion, is her. So when you meet a woman like that, are they noticing maybe subconsciously that you're from Ardahan? Do they understand that? And did they ask you questions about Ardahan?
Yeah, this meeting is a quite for me is a quite the sensitive meeting still. When I remember, I am shaking, and I was during that period I was looking for any person who has a survived from the Genesis period.
Right.
And when I in my during that time I met a photographer name is Nazik Armenian, and she's a very good photographer. She live in Yerevan, and she's many years she were photographing to survivor of the genocide. And I contact with her and to tell to her if there is any chance I would like to meet a survivor. And a couple of weeks later, she called me that, and she said there's a one person in Yerevan, but it won't be so easy to meet her as a non-Armenian. And she asked me that, what do you think to try the first of all, to not to tell to her, you are just coming from Istanbul, from Bolis, just you are working in Agos, a photographer working in Agos. Then when you met with her, maybe after a while, even if she learned that you are not non-Armenian, maybe she accepted to keep going on. Somehow, I mean, ethically is not a good way, but on the other hand, I just want to I accepted and I said I want to see her, and so Nazik called to her and her family, and I mean her daughter and the son. She tell to her daughter and the son, I'm a non-Armenian. I'm not an Armenian, and who I am and what I am doing. But she didn't tell to her I'm an Armenian, a non-Armenian. So then we went to there and we met with her families and with her. And of course, she's starting to talk with me Armenian. And a couple of minutes later, she realized that I am not speaking very well. I'm not speaking Armenian, so I don't understand anything. So she became a bit angry. And
Agitated.
yeah, some countries also angry. She was very angry because she said, how any young Armenians and working in Agos newspaper doesn't know Armenians. It cannot be acceptable. And I turned to Nazik and I said, Nazik, we cannot keep going on like this. We should tell to her I'm not Armenian, so who I am, and to think that. And then Nazik explained the situation and about me. And suddenly she silent for a couple of minutes. She just silent. I didn't tell anything. And suddenly she's starting to, and I have a camera with me and the photograph camera and the video camera near to me. And then she started to keep going on, starting to speak with the Nazik. And she starting to telling the story telling something to the Nazik. And the Nazik just told me keep the recording with the video, because she said now she's telling the stories, but she didn't talking with me. I'm adjusting in here.
Right.
She's in here and Nazik in here. Just they are talking each other. But she stopped to keep communication with me. Stopped to communication with me. And while I'm recording, and suddenly she returned to me in the middle of the stories, and she in my video there is this moment, and she returned to me and she said, "I want to tell more, but I cannot remember." And from this point, then starting to talk to directly to my camera, and then it goes like this.
Yeah. So, by the way, Asadourian comes from Asdvadzadour. Asadur is Asdvadzadour, which means God-given.
Yeah.
So Asdvad is God in Armenian. If somebody sees that video, one understands Dikranouhi is literally Asdvadzadourian. She's, because she's so, her face is so withered, so, the grimaces are chiseled into her cheeks, and she
Yeah.
all the pain that she suffered and had to witness just as a woman under Turkish rule, as a woman in Soviet era, it's all there. That face, tells a million stories. And she's a very strong personality. So as you said, like, she doesn't like you, she stops talking to you. There's no, this sort of Middle Eastern, let's keep it sweet, let's keep it, sugary, none of that stuff. It's very Armenian. It's harsh. It's, gedruk, as we say. And
I mean, it wasn't about to do doesn't like. It's about to directly to some kind of really to think that
her memories were triggered.
Yeah, of course. Or I have to say, is it an object about the genocide period? I'm the have to say I'm the object of this issue. Object or subject?
So, yeah, you're a reminder of the usual canonical tool used in literature or movies is the gendarme. Even Gomidas, our most famous composer, a genius, who went crazy after the genocide, just completely crazy, because a sensitive guy like that cannot handle the concept of millions of people sensible, would stop talking Armenian, even when he was in Istanbul, and every day believed the gendarmes are coming to take him away. Even when he was transported to France to a mental institution, he still thought the Turkish gendarmes are coming to take him away. That same ruse is used in Greek movies. If you see the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the grandmother is constantly running around saying the gendarmes are coming to catch me. So there's that sort of imprinted fear and imprinted doom, and the inevitability of failure. Like Shostakovich believed that every day at 3 a.m. the KGB is coming to take him, until Stalin died. It's that same thread that you captured, but what's beautiful is how you changed it. You guys hugged, you guys touched foreheads, right? And she accepted you, which shows an openness of heart that's just immense. And you captured all that. And, I'll always be grateful to you for that attempt at reconciliation and accepting of her story as it is, not telling her how to change it so that it's convenient or something like this, but, or just ignore it, but to find her where she was. I think that's your journalistic training, where you're not supposed to change I always thought a journalist is a very strange person, a photojournalist of war, because he has to witness somebody being killed, and instead of helping them, has to take a photograph of it. There's always that dilemma, right? What do you do? Do you interfere, or do you just passively observe so everybody else can see?
I mean, I don't know. Probably we don't have the chance to show her movie, the video, the small video in this the podcast. But the thing that the story that she telling so directly in front of the camera, and our experiences and my experiences and my memories with her, it wasn't about how to say the fear. She was so brave, and just she realized that a subject of the genocide period and the genocide is standing in front of me. Is some kind of the big reactions. Now I don't want to talk with you. But later on, I cannot answer for her. But suddenly she changed her mind and she changed her position. Her reactions is some kind of statement in front of me. They're giving a reaction.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk with you right now. This is the point. And later on, she just changed her position. And it's a very valuable and it's a very big thing, actually. And yeah, there are so many things I can tell about my experiences with her. But one of the main points in my the work discipline is should be a deal. If I am photographing to somebody's, if I am recording to something and telling the stories about to somebody's, they should give me, and it should be some kind of the deal between us, and they should believe that I will carrying off to their pictures and their stories. So
yes. Speaking of which, let's now move to. You're in Nancy, you meet Diana, she wants to make the movie, now you go back. How different was it? We've already talked about the movie with Diana, but what I want to know is from your perspective, what was different for you to go back and try to recreate all that? You know, if you think about it from a philosophical or literary point of view, you going and asking them about the genocide the first time, or their experiences in Ardahan and Mush and Gars and so on, the first time was you recreating their lives 100 years earlier, or giving them an opportunity to recreate their memories or rekindle their memories from 100 years ago. That's 2010. 5 years later, you go back, and now Diana is rekindling your and their memories of what you did 5 years earlier. What did that feel like to you?
First of all, I mean, it's a totally different, of course, different experiences and different feeling. And in the first trip, I was just myself. I think I don't need that think to control myself and my feeling and thinking about how to say about my feeling, because sometimes how to say during that period, I mean, in my first trip, I was crying. I was thinking, I was stopping, I was keep going on, I was angry, and so many things. I'm just giving reactions, and I am taking reactions. And when visit to them the second time, first of all, I am visiting to them, to giving to their pictures that I took to many years ago, 5 years ago. And it was so the nice feeling to revisit again and giving to them to their pictures. And it's also
Did you take them gifts, Erhan, or are you a bad Turk?
Sorry?
Did you take them gifts?
Yeah, I said I take them gifts.
Good. Continue.
Yeah, I didn't get the points.
Did you take lohum? Did you take what did you take?
Yeah.
Baklava? What did you take?
No, I just revisit to them, and I just give to their picture, and just sit a bit again and spend the time with them. Yeah, that's it. I didn't give to them lokum. Yeah, I bring to something.
Haram.
I bring to something to my friend, but not to have to say the pictures, the people that I take to everybody's pictures. Yeah.
Okay, so you took them their own picture that you took, signed by you.
Yeah.
Pretty narcissistic. Okay, go on.
I don't know. No, I don't know. Do you think is it very narcissistic?
I'm just joking. Continue.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe there's some point. Maybe I should understand.
There's always truth in jokes, Erhan, but let's just move on.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't think that is I don't know, is it somehow is it a nice thing? Is it some kind of is it because is it the photography for me is always remind me family album. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
so for me, it's not only remember any pictures, not only remind you or the remember you remind you just the moment is also remind you the person who took these pictures and the time and the period and the place. So giving a pictures of the family is a for me is a some kind of also remind you the taking period and our the first meeting and the thing is it I don't know, is it some kind of is it for me is a
Was it well exposed, your photographs? Were they properly exposed? Because if they were, that's not like a family album. You see, there's one difference there. You would have to be underexposed for it to be like a family album. But
I will give you some I will give you some real thing about this. During that period, I haven't camera in the first visit. I haven't
yeah.
camera. I haven't lens. I brought to my camera from my brother, and I
You
take
didn't own a camera yourself. You used your brother's camera, and we should say he's also a photojournalist, your brother.
he's also he's photojournalist, and I also take to a lens from my friend, but it was broken. There is the focus ring. It was broken, so it's not focusing every time. You should keep to your distance always. You should care about your distance.
So even though it was a zoom lens, you were using it as a primary lens.
I use a primary lens. So what I am telling to the story is
Yeah,
actually
I know.
most of these pictures is a underexposing and overexposing, and it's also some kind of the misfocus. So
Yes.
so that's why at the same time I was so how to say focused about to the distance when I'm taking the pictures because you
Yeah,
cannot
fixed focal length, right.
yeah you cannot
Right.
focus in the broken. So it wasn't a well exposing.
So it is like a family album. Okay, I get
Guys,
it.
it's
Because
totally
all
about
my childhood pictures are yellow and green. I understand what my parents don't understand about photography, but okay.
yeah
Instant
yeah
cameras. I remember these pieces of.
yeah. I mean, is it with Diana visit Diana revisit with Diana? Of course, it was so pleasure for me to revisit again all these families with Diana and with her film. I didn't really critique or do ask to any question to me really, but or imagine what kind of movie she's going on doing. I just have to say feel that
Went along, just went along.
yeah, just I accept it and I say let's do it and let's do this visit again.
So now you were a
That's
witness.
yeah,
You didn't have to get the exposure right. You didn't, there was a cameraman. You didn't have to worry about any of the technical things. So now you're seeing these people as an observer and
yeah,
as a player. What
yeah,
did that feel like? That you were having they're already comfortable with you. You're no longer a stranger.
yeah, yeah,
In
yeah,
fact, more than that, you've come back. This is the Turk who's come back, right? 5 years later, you're back. So it's real. It's more intimate. How did
yeah.
that feel to you?
The first I went to the second visit. I visited them with my book and with the picture of them, and it's also I visited them with the Diana and their crew. So the second time visiting is a quite for me is a quite is a comfortable because I am with the Diana and her crew and
Yeah, you
from
brought an Armenian along with you this time.
yeah and it's also I finished my Gayan book and it's also I visited them with their pictures. So revisiting with them and doing all this trip with doing it with Diana and her her crew is that technically and it was so easy to doing all this thing, but as an emotional part for me is quite hard because in this time yeah I believe and I trust and I want to be part of to this film and spend the time with the Diana. But at the same time, somehow I cannot totally have to say at the same time
Express yourself. Let me finish your thought because I just
yeah,
figured it out.
yeah,
Here's the
yeah,
problem. This is the drama. First time, you're learning about these stories. You have no background, no knowledge, because you're a Turk who grew up in Turkey and went to London and went to Istanbul. That's it. That's your life. And now you're talking to these people and you don't know anything and you're learning and learning and learning. Then you do the Horovel show. You go around the world. You meet more Armenians. They tell you what they think about your photographs. Now you have delayed reactions to these photographs that you've had over 5 years. When you go back, you want to talk, but you can't talk because you're a character now. You're the character with the camera. You're not allowed to talk. Diana is doing the talking with them. So now that you actually have something to say, you can't say it. And in fact, that's the fact about every Turk in Anatolia and their children and their grandchildren. You know, there's many other movies that have been made where Armenian directors go back and find Arabic Bedouins who took Armenians in, by the way. That's the story of that particular movie. And they put, you know, blue marks on their faces as like they're animals. They own these women. But that's a secondary point. The main point is they remember what happened to the Armenians from what they heard from their grandparents, right? And the movie director can ask them questions and stuff. So that memory exists all over Turkey. There's this historical memory of this thing that happened 100 years ago, like in America, about Indians, you know, what happened to the Indians. Every person who lived through that has some memory from their grandparents that's transmitted down to some degree. Or meeting Armenians in Turkish Arabic dress, you know, with golden things, you know, nothing Armenian about them, who remember that their grandmother told them when they went to the cave that they're Armenian. Well, that's a secret. They know it, nobody else knows it, and they're living like Turks or they're living like Arabs. So that inherent knowledge, you now were a Turk who knows a lot about this, and it's the questions you never asked the first time that you would love to ask again, but you can't because now it's Diana's project and it's a different project.
Yeah.
Right? So that's an amazing tension, right? There's enormous psychic tension there where you get to meet them again, which is fun, but you can't talk to them because that would change Diana's story. If you had talked, it would have been yet a third story. Right? You would have taken over the project. So if it were me, I would have done that. But that's just because I'm not a very good person. But you're so nice that you just let her make her movie in your witness. You know, she made an Armenian to Armenian contact with a Turk present. That's an amazing story. But it's frustrating for you. But artistically, it's very rich.
Yeah, it's very, very rich. And it's also, I think, somehow also, I mean, she make all this journeys is so calm, so relaxed, and she went through so deeply and without any noise, and it wasn't so easy because there's a tension with me, and because I couldn't express myself because of lots of reason, and it's the first time. I realized it, and I'm facing from my photography experiences. You know, when you are taking any person pictures, when you are trying to framing his or her stories and the point and the things, at the same time, the person who is photographed trying to take a position, trying to express to his feeling or her feeling that giving to the photographer. And there's a big tension because I tried to also giving it the true point and the true feeling from it comes from inside me. So it's a kind of a really big tension, but somehow with her and with her cinematographer get into all the layers the nice and a very smooth way.
Yes, I think she believes in truth, if we're going to be a little philosophical, in a very different way than you believe in truth. Yours is much more emotional and much more visceral, as we say in English, you know, much more down to the ground, you know, earth truth. maybe it's the background of being from Ardahan or whatever. She's from Moscow. So for me, from Gyumri and Moscow is very different than being from Ardahan. And so she went to film school in Moscow. It's a very different understanding of communication. But both of you, as documentarians, of course, have to always step back. It's not about you, it's about them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
The oldest rule in journalism is that you're not the story. At
yeah,
least that's how we teach it in America.
yeah,
You're not the story. The story should be independently of you.
yeah, yeah,
And well, in physics, we have this problem. It's called the observer. Quantum mechanics doesn't work without the
yeah,
observer. So we've
yeah,
screwed that up. But before that, it was always true that physics, reality was independent of the observer.
right, yeah.
But so in 1915, there was no quantum mechanics. So genocide, there's no observer. It's the truth. Okay. So
Yeah,
that's a
sorry,
little.
I just wanted to cut. I just cut. Sorry about.
Please.
You got a very good point about the art. Actually, the distance. So why is it the distance important? Because when you're observing at the same time, you should really think about the distance, because you can still the story of the person that you're trying to photograph. So it's a very teeny line, with when we are talking about all this, the dealing and the giving that stories and the taking the stories and all this responsibility and the things. But at the same time, you cannot create another room inside the stories that you are recording. You cannot be take a kind of as the subject and taking so much space on the
But
stories
Diana did that.
recording.
So Diana made the story. What she found interesting is your interaction with them. And so that's what she was capturing or recapturing. And so, first of all, getting a second chance is an amazingly important concept here. We
Mhm.
can think of the future as one in which Turks and Armenians are never going to get along. We're never going to have anything to do with each other. It's always going to be blood. Or we have to say, Babam, this is stupid. At some point, you have to sit and break bread and have to think of a future which is different than the unfortunate elements of the past.
Mhm.
And if that's going to happen, somebody's going to have to give in. Somebody's going to have to just say, that's more important than whatever the hell has happened, right?
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
forming a future is more important. So when Diana shows up, a Moscow educated French Armenian, from Gyumri, but still, genetically, not really. Remember, she only went to Russian schools. So if her mother was so interested in bringing up Armenians, she teaches Armenian, but she
Mhm.
didn't go to Armenian school. So she has her own internal and became a psychologist because of the movie she made.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
She realized the important thing is to understand the psychology of these people and the psychology of pain that never goes away, which is, of course, a very interesting distillation of what she learned. Now, one thing she and I discussed, I think you've seen that podcast, which was fantastic, and I wish we could talk about it more, is the situation comedy of all the spy agencies, the Armenian spy agency, the Russian, all following you around and suspecting you people, and it's like doors opening, doors closing. So this search, you could say that you withstood so much that could have ruined everything, and you came up with your own art, and she came up with her own art, and these people's who were very likely to be forgotten. The Soviet state was not interested in them. The Soviet scientists never paid any attention to them, right? So, and even after the Soviet Union, the Armenians never paid attention to them. So, let me ask this question in a more general way so it gets simpler. You're from Javakhk. Diana is from Javakhk. All
Yeah.
these people are from Javakhk. How much, there's another place that you've been to actually, which we're going to get to in a second in Gayan, which is Anjar, right?
Mhm.
So Anjartzis or Musalertzis, when they get together, it doesn't matter. They're from Tokyo, they're from Argentina, all that matters is Musaler, right?
Yeah.
And they have annual Musaler meetings and this and that and the other. And they make harissa and all this. My father is from Musaler, so I remember Ki Varujan Mardirian. But so the question to you is, as you Javakhsis meet,
Mhm.
how much of the conversation explicitly or implicitly was Javakhian, in your opinion?
I was that's why I was just jumping to your sentences when you are saying that, how to say, two different people and three different how to say, people, they become up together and during that period. So I was just jumping and say, because for me is somehow we are not two different people with the Diana, because and it's also with the families, Armenian families that I met, all this region and an area, I think is the culturally and sociologically is a quite is the Nero that we understand.
100 years apart.
Yeah. So that's why for me, the Diana is some kind of not the person who educates who take the good education from the Russian school and studying psychology and living in the France. And for me is the typical the person from the Meskheti, from the Ahascha and Akhirkelek. So of course it is a somehow I don't know is a somehow we feel kind of the relative. That the many years we know each other.
Right. We cannot escape our destiny, as they say. And social engineering, like the genocide, like these, three Macedonians, Enver, Talyat, Jamal, who thought they're going to change and then Atatürk, who thought he's going to change the culture of Turks. He's not going to change anything because it's not up to people to. The Soviets, who had this whole dream, they're going to change the culture of people and replace the historical ties and the genetic ties by intellectual ties. We know how well that worked. It's just not how it works. Humans carry with them what they have to carry with them, and that's not
Yeah,
something you can just change like this on a
yeah,
dime, right?
no, impossible.
So there's hope that what ties us together is stronger
Mhm.
than that which makes us want to not be together. Anyway, so what was just in a few sentences, what was it like to show Horovel around the world?
I mean, for me, is especially for the Horovel, the showing in Istanbul, it was a big thing, as a very important things.
2010 or 2011?
2010, and
Uh-huh.
I mean, they weren't not so much how to say the work that the publicly you can show it. And I don't want, right now we don't have a time, so I don't want to go into so much the detail during that period and the exhibition.
Well, did Armenians come and tell you other stories? And, did you learn more about, did Javakhk people show up, etc.?
Yeah, during that period, I put on a notebook in an exhibition, and in this notebook, the
People
people,
wrote their thoughts.
yeah, and some of them, of course, is about against of this exhibition and telling lots of the bad words and things, and it's also there are lots of things also the people telling the inner thought and the feeling what they felt in this exhibition, because it wasn't really Dikranouhi Asadourian, and it was the first, maybe it was maybe the first survivor to showing herself inside the publicly. I mean the publicly. So it was a huge thing actually. So for me, showing this picture in Istanbul, in Turkey, and any part of the Turkey is some kind of the responsible, and some kind of
Did
is
the
a
newspapers write about it? Did Hürriyet, did other
during
Turkish
the,
newspapers cover it?
yeah, there are some newspaper they covered. Turkey in this time it was passing kind of as a very the liberal period as ideological, I can say. They were trying to during that period Turkey the politically they tried to facing to this to Armenian issue. They covered also this exhibition, But in we were a bit as a not so good experiences in the exhibition time. But it wasn't stopped to have to say power of this exhibition. Lots of people they visit, lots of people take a note over there, and I think we were very brave to doing this exhibition.
Okay, let's go to now how you decided to do Gayan, and what did you do, and what is your impression? Now you have an impression of Ardahan Armenians, which came from your dream. In Diana's movie, there's another dream, as you know, that she talks about. But how did you go to do Gayan? And you went to Tehran Armenians, Beirut Armenians, Anjar Armenians, Amman Armenians, and who else? Egyptian?
I couldn't visit the Egyptian because after the coup d'etat during
Yeah.
that period, it was the coup d'etat
Mhm.
in Egypt, and it's
So
also
where else did you go besides Lebanon and
I have
Persia?
been in Lebanon, Iran, and Iraqi Kurdistan, Jordan, and Palestine, and Jerusalem, and what else? Yeah, and it's also in this part also I revisit again Armenia, and there's also some pictures
But
from
the
Istanbul.
same villages or somewhere else in
No,
Armenia?
no, somewhere in
Good.
Armenia.
Yerevan?
Yeah, yeah, I've been in Yerevan. I was,
Okay, so that's all in that Gayan photo exhibit.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
so
up,
tell us about if somebody came to you and said, what do Armenians have in common? Uh, et cetera, et cetera. What are your impressions of Armenians from all your photographs and all your encounters with Burç Armenians and Anjar Armenians and so on and so forth?
when I did the first trip to Horovel, it was the main main reason was how to say I saw there's a big gap in my memory, and the memory that I learn, and the memory that I live, and the memory that how to say appearances, and it showed me. So I feel there's a big gap in my memory, and it was the reaction that giving a reaction that filled this memory, this gap, feeling this gap. And I was thinking that if I'm going to met with the Armenian families and facing with them and sitting at the same table with them, I was thinking that this gap going to be.
You weren't going to learn about Armenians by living in Turkey. There's a whole state apparatus to make sure that doesn't happen. So for you to learn about Armenians, you have to go and find them where they are, which is what you did. So what did you find?
I try to explain this. I mean this, but I realize that this gap is going to be not closing. Is going to be more big and more big, because
Why?
when you're working on about a memory, when you open the door, another door opening, and another door is opening. You have to open. I mean, if you are when you open any door, if you are talking about to be stay far away from the homeland, then you start to talk about to far away and talk about the homeland. Then all this the spaces about the memory is going to be more big and more big. Then I feel that I should go on to more deep. That's why I visit to the
Well, the
Middle East.
subject becomes bigger.
Yeah, subject
Right?
becomes bigger.
If
So
you've made
why,
one giraffe and all you've seen is one giraffe and you want to know more about giraffes, you go to Africa.
yeah,
Now you meet gazelles and lions and
yeah,
all these other animals, and you realize, oh, Africa is not about giraffes.
yeah.
So I understand that. But still, you were attracted to the giraffe in the first place. You shouldn't lose track of the giraffe. So if you just go back and think about the giraffe, even though you met the lions and the tigers and the
Mhm,
villagers,
mhm,
what
mhm,
did you learn about the Armenians, let's say from Javakhk? Your thoughts about Armenians from Javakhk when you met so many different kinds of Armenians?
mhm, mhm. So why I tell you this story is I mean that the main motivation is not try to understand the differences or the similarities. So, and actually, end of all this trip and all this visiting and met with the families, actually, I cannot say that this is the big differences and the things that, especially we are talking about the Caucasia and Armenia and the Turkey and the Middle East, already the culturally and
Come
emotionally.
on, the Middle Eastern food is better. Just admit it now. The
Yes,
Beirut food was the best. Yes or no? I just want an
yeah,
answer.
the total is yes. It cannot be compared with
Okay,
anything.
I think I've got what I need. Continue.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe how to say in Lebanon, I felt totally is different for the rest of all the countries about politically. They are more organized. I can say, I'm talking about the politically, and they are more organized and they are more get into, and so. But it's also understandable because they are living in Lebanon. They are not living in Armenia and not in Yerevan. It's not. They are not living in the country, the nation. So there are another how to say another difficulty that about to stay alive and to keep going on about
Yes, they have
culture.
existential need, just like in Tehran. But anyway,
Yeah. But about to have to say what we sharing, there is no any differences. About what we have to say, how we standing on the table and talking about, there is no any difficulties. There is no any differences. And for me, when I working in the 2000 and 2015, it was a very difficult time. All the Middle East, there is a lots of problem. There's a war, there is a ISIS, and there are so many things. There are lots of suspicions about the foreigners, and yeah, but meeting with the Armenian community.
yeah, but there's an interesting thing, right? If you're a Tehran Armenian, maybe you know Iranian Turks, but you don't know Turkish Turks. Maybe you do. If you're from Beirut, you don't know any Turks.
Yeah.
If you're from Jordan, you don't know any Turks. So they're meeting you. You're the giraffe, right? I mean, they've heard about you, but you're a strange animal with a big neck, and you only eat on top of the tree, and you're very pacifist, except if you bang your neck against another animal, you can kill them. But so how was that interaction, the sociology of meeting a Turk who's an artist, who has a pure soul? He's from the villages, he's not some sort of militarist. How was that like? Why do you, if you look back at how they took you in and how they interacted with you, the Lebanese Armenians have all fought. They've all fought the wars. They've been in a civil war. They've all held guns. That's different than Jordanian Armenians or Tehran Armenians, who don't deal with guns.
I mean, why I think when I'm thinking for a long time, I mean, when I'm working as much long and visiting all these places, I think is about the vision of the Armenian people as a politically. They know it is a very important to talk and the met and to tell the story that they lived a person from the Turkey, especially the non-Armenians, because they know there is very important and is valuable. So I think that for me, this is the point they wanted to and accepted to meet with me. And at the same time, all we grow up in the Middle East and in Anatolia and the Caucasian and Armenia, and as a culturally, for us, any person, if they knocked our door, I mean, not so important that what kind of life we are living and the politically what we are living, if we are in the war or some things, we believe that we should open the store and we should sit in the table, we should share our foods. This is important, then we should keep it. And I think these two things, the culture and the politic vision, is for me giving to me chance to meet all these people.
So you called the show Gayan, which means channel, or like radio station. And you explained that in Istanbul, the Armenians used to get together in these Gayans, in these places where they could talk to each other, right? Once a week or something?
Uh, I mean, the Gayan there's a very direct connection with the genocide period as a word. The Gayan is a place, is a point that after the genocide period, families they become together and try to found their relatives.
In
So
Istanbul?
yeah, in Istanbul.
Do you know where they met? Kadıköy? Where did they meet?
In Istanbul, there is the church in Samatya. I forgot its name, but this is one of the places that after the genocide, and the people every month they are going to this church. They know the day the people they are going to there and they are meeting and try to find each other. So this name, this place is called the Gayan. So but it's also the name as a meaning. Later on, I learned is a station, and yeah.
Right, communication station. So it
No,
makes
not the
perfect
communication.
sense. Also, train station.
Yeah, something.
You
Or
know,
yeah.
so yeah, those are all Gayans. But tell us about Tehran. What was interesting? The women wear chadurs and stuff in Tehran. The Armenian women.
Yeah.
Their Armenianness from the Javakhk Armenians, from the Lebanese Armenians.
Yeah.
What was different, if anything?
Of course, I mean, in the school, in the public area, they should cover to themselves, and in the public area and in the school and in these places, they should cover themselves. But in their how to say
Homes.
their homes, not only the homes, they have also their cultural areas like
Yes. Cultural
Araz,
centers.
Araz Center and things, the cultural centers. In this part, they are how to say how they are living in Armenia and Lebanon and in other parts of the world. If their own right about this, and talking about their life, who is living in Middle East, from my point, is a somehow come to maybe problematic, because they live in a sociology and they live in a politic under the politic system. So from outside to describe to their life, how to say they are relaxed, they are good, they are so good. The system they care about their life, but it doesn't like this. It might not like this. So that's why for me, is saying anything about their the daily life or the politic life in there, the saying something doesn't
Do
come to
their
me.
grandparents have memories of the genocide? Were
In
they?
Iran, there is no direct connection with the genocide period because the Iran Armenians is a very long the background.
I
So
know. That's why I'm
yeah.
asking you. So how did that make them different? The Lebanese Armenians are all products of genocide survivors, all of them. In the villages you went to on the other side of the river, they're all genocide survivors. So what was the difference between the behavior or the way they talk to you or the friendships or anything? How was it
I mean,
different?
about the behavior and about to have to say the politically, there is no any big differences with genocide and the genocide, and the memory is a memory, and they have to keep it, and they have to tell the stories, and they have to forward. They believe this. I mean, is a so there is no differences about this point. But of course, there is from my perspective, there's the differences about their life under the different system.
Right. So the Shia regime that's in Iran is in opposition to Turkey. So they
Mhm.
should be grown up thinking Turkey is the enemy, just from an Iranian point of view, not from. But of course, there's also Turks and Kurds in Iran who have a different opinion.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and then there's the Azerbaijan, which is the northern part of Iran,
Mhm.
which is much bigger than the country of Azerbaijan, by the way, and more populated. Could you tell something about their mentality or their worldview being influenced by these other elements, or
Uh,
you met them on a personal basis and it's all about family and Ojakh and and cultural center, and so there's no indication of any of that.
from the beginning, my career as a professional and still as a today, especially when I'm working in the kind of as a the some kind of a problematic and dangerous area, or so some kind of a politically is the conflict area,
Crisis, yeah.
crisis area. For me is the most important things and an important point, the keeping to not creating a danger for your character and the people that you met. So when I go any places, any country, and I'm giving to the openly, giving to the telling to the people who help me, going on to help me, telling to them, please, if there is any chance or any place that giving a how to say, telling to them who I am and taking a permission and telling that is like the policy, is like to after the security or some things. Just connect with me to them and telling to them who I am and what I am in here and what I am doing and what is the border of my the work area. So the first of all, I think this is very important. So I'm trying to say that I don't have to say hide myself. I showed myself, and this because this is very important to save myself and the more important things to people that I am working. So this is the I think because of this. First of all, everybody knows in this neighbor I am there, and the security they knows I am there. So it's creating a space that's working the very openly. That's why I think when I met with all these people, beside of to the culture, beside of to the politics, because of the vision, beside of the vision. All this way is also giving us to keep going on work together, and is also how to say the talk.
So in the few minutes remaining, let's go to your seed planting current project and the documentary that you're making with your wife. What is your wife's name again?
Meryem Yavuz.
Yeah, so she's a cinematographer, if I understand correctly.
She's cinematographer and is also the first time she is the producer of this documentary. Our seeds, Tohum.
Perfect. So you're making a documentary, and there's an idea behind it, which is to plant the seeds of a ancestral tree, right?
The seed is a wheat seed, is a
Wheat
like
seed,
as a making a bread and things.
which comes from where?
Is a names a kavalja, is a Caucasian seeds, and is planting in Georgia, in Armenia, and is also today in Turkey, and the northeast part of the Turkey in Kars is planting. And the story is about a miller couple who has this seed, the wheat seed, and more than 1,300 years old, and they are planting this in their field, and they got product from this seed in their meal, and they have some kind of inner connection also with this seed, so they want to keep it and they want to forward to this seed and the meal their children, but their children dream and expectations and the miller couple expectations doesn't match. So over the family relations, we try to tell a seed story. It's not kind of ethnographical the seed documentary. Seed is a metaphor, and we try to say what we have it and for what we are losing.
So how do we know it's 13? Let me talk to you like a scientist now. How do we know it's 1,300 years old?
It's a seriously, we are really. I just check on the internet and I saw that is a very long and the
Okay, the
old.
answer is carbon dating, but okay. So let me.
I don't know.
There is a way to do it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
so this seed, are you and your wife playing the role of the couple, or you have actors playing the role of the couple?
There is no any players. It is a real Miller. I mean,
Okay, so you're actually photographing the actual Miller whose story this is. It's
yeah.
not a written story.
No, it's a
You're
documentary. Yeah,
transmitting a true
yeah,
story.
yeah. It's a
How
real
did you
story.
find the Miller?
I found a Miller in Kars, so the Kars and Ardahan. This is also the place that I born, so I know
How do
the.
you know he's not Armenian? Did you do 23andMe?
I'm not sure there are many,
You
but
should check.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know there are some. Of course, I mean, when I'm doing a research, I saw there are some Miller, and they are planting this seed. So I met all of them, and when I met with this couple, in a short time, I realized and I saw all the layers of the stories, and then we starting to work with them, and more than this is the 5th year, 5 years that we are working on. Right now, we are in editing period.
Chalatspan or something, or Hatzakort. There's Armenian words that you can use. Chalatspan is, I think, the right one. So Javakhk, Chalats, it's close. So maybe you want to use that. All right. Well, Erhan, I want to tell you it's been a great pleasure talking to you and listening to your stories and seeing how much work you've done in reaching truths that are not politically or self-servingly dished out with, extreme arrogance and chauvinism and all these things that exist in the news, and instead keeping everything on a human level, where, as you said, we all become the same thing. We all eat bread, we
Yeah,
all have fears and memories that haunt us, and it's great that you've done the work to bring the temperature down a little bit in the exchanges between different people. So, teşekkür ederim.
Şaşırana kalan Bedros. Thank you so much uh,
Confirm.
for this really chance to talk with you and again remember all this the memory and the things and the sorry for the audience that listening to us because of my really very bad English. I hope I
It
could
was just fine.
express that.
It could have been better, but it was just fine.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Until
thank
next time, when you have the seed story, maybe we can talk again.
Yeah, Ojakh, of course.
Where in Armenia are you planting it?
As I know, I think in Gümri and all the village still is a planting, but just I heard. I didn't know it's planting. I just heard it's planting still in that.
When do you think the movie will be available?
Probably, yeah, it will finish after 2 months later. 3 months later, everything will be finished about editing. So this year we're starting to apply the festival. So probably next year in
27. Okay.
I will let you
How
know.
can people see Horovel and Gayan? What's a way for them to see these pictures? Just on the internet, put in Erhan Arik or what?
Still, I don't have the website, but if the people, if they contact me, I don't know, maybe we can write to the email.
Yes.
Digitally, I can share the book with them.
Is that book going to be available? The Horovel book?
Yeah, it's published in the Armenian publish house in Istanbul. Name is Araz publishing house.
Are they on Amazon?
Yeah, probably because I know they have to say sending to all of the world.
Okay, so Horovel is the name?
No, Araz, name of the publish house.
No, but what's the name of the book?
Gayan, name of the book.
Oh, the Gayan is published, but not Horovel.
Yeah, Horovel doesn't publish, just the Gayan is published.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So if they can go to Amazon and try to find that.
And it's also if they wanted, I can share the digital.
Yes.
Yeah.
They should contact you on Facebook or by email. Which one?
Instagram. Yeah,
Instagram.
I'm
Okay.
very active using Instagram.
Asped will put a link. Maybe we can put it on YouTube, Asped, the little short movie about Dikranouhi Asadourian that is in both Diana's movie and in the original Horovel exhibit. All right. But the Dikranouhi you have to put in because that's a trouvaille. That's a finding that he's made, that capturing that woman, that face. If you look at that face once, your life changes. Okay. So much so that Diana had to use it, even though the woman was dead. She used Erhan's footage in her movie.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Erhan, for a heartfelt conversation, and thank you, Asped, for doing the mighty sound editing work next, which will make a nice bouquet out of this torrent of words, mental images, and storming ideas I'm often fond of creating. And thank you all in the audience for contributing your time to listen. Don't forget to donate to Groong. They need your help to move onward and upward. Mitzach, mi'ach, harach, harach.